my favorite way to learn grammar and more about that, as well as our title, Can You Learn Grammar by Listening? So I'm going to answer those questions and talk to you a little bit about what you can do and hopefully answer your questions. So if you're listening live or if you're listening to the recording, you can put your questions in the comments. I'll try to get to as many as I can today here. And I'd love to know where you're listening from. Where are you? Is this your first time to go live with me? Let me know in the comments. I see Farida. It has a question. Nice to join to your class, but today I will go somewhere. Could I attend to your live class next week? This is a great question. I will be live again in March on the last Saturday of March at 1 p.m. As far as going live here on YouTube, if you follow me on Instagram or if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I go live on Instagram a few times a month. And so you can go over there and see the announcements in the stories that I have over on Instagram, as well as I teach live classes on Zoom. So if you want more information about my live classes on Zoom, you can check out the links that will be below this video once I post the recording. So welcome people from Denmark. Hi, Oksana. Good to see you. Ofa, Jenny. Great to see all of you. Herzegovia, Bosnia. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see everyone. Canada. And we have at least one person who's here for their first time. And I know some of you are returning. I see some familiar names. So let's talk about, can you learn grammar by listening? So the short answer is yes, it depends. Isn't that one of those answers that just is aggravating? But if you just want the short, easy answer, yes, listen to more English, and that will help you to learn grammar. If you want to know what to listen to, how to listen, and why this works, and who should do this, stay tuned. Thank you for the hearts, everyone. So it's very important to understand what we mean by learning grammar, because a lot of people think that we learned grammar in our first language when we were small children. And this usually is not the case, because learning how to spell words like CAT spells cat, this is not learning grammar. So what is learning grammar? Learning grammar is when you learn the parts of the sentence, like noun, verb, conjugations, past, present, present perfect, past perfect, all of those things that can be very confusing and actually can make it so that you're learning to be fluent slower. Why is that? Well, it's very important. Well, first, let me tell you why, and be sure to listen for who needs to learn vocabulary, because most people listening today probably don't need to learn vocabulary in the way you think. Pippa's here to visit us. Do you want a piece of treat? Do you want a treat? Pippa, do you want a treat? There she is. You can see her neck is starting to heal. If you saw that she had some problem, she got hurt on her neck. Her neck is starting to heal, and her fur, her white fur, is growing back. So, who needs to learn grammar? The first question you need to ask yourself is, why are you learning English? If you are learning English because you want to be a fluent speaker, give me a thumbs up in the chat, or say me, or yes, I want to be fluent, so I want to learn English so I can be a fluent speaker. This is most people. Most people are doing this. And so if you are learning English so that you can speak English, or that you want to be fluent, put a yes or a me in the comments. I see Oksana is saying yes. This is true for me in my second and now my third language. I see several people. Iwa says yes. Pardon me, says me. Fam says yes, thanks. Eliam says, of course. Celine says me. Ginny says yes. Patricia says thumbs up. Yes. Marcia, I can be fluent. Patrick, yes. Lots of hearts. Okay. This is the majority of people who want, or maybe all the people who want to learn a second or third language. Now, some people learn a language because they want to be a linguist, a professional linguist, someone whose job is to study languages. So if this is you, put a yes in the comments. If you are hoping not to have a job that uses English, but rather if you hope to be someone who studies languages. For example, if you want to be an English teacher, you probably need to learn some grammar. And I know there are a lot of folks out there that want to be an English teacher. This is changing, though. I will just say this is changing because the old way of teaching is changing because we're always learning things that work better. And if you didn't see my post today on Instagram, I would suggest you go see it. But the long and short of it, or the short of it, I should say, is that the way that we're learning to teach now works better for the student. So if you're a student of English, this is what you need. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. So people who are students and not teachers, and they're learning English, don't need to know things like, what do you call this part of the sentence? What do you call that part of the sentence? What you need to do is be able to speak the sentence. If you want to teach someone how to speak English, that might be different. Or if you want to be a linguist, somebody who studies languages for a job, that would be different. But most people who are learning English are learning because they want to be able to speak, they want to be fluent. And so what you need to know is how to use the language, which of course includes the grammar, but you don't need to know how to teach it, for example. Then yes, listening is going to help you with this because the more you listen, the more you use the language, the more you are going to start to recognize the patterns. The patterns. Let's see if I can move Pippa. Pippa is here because I have some treats here. Do you want to say hi, Pippa? Do you want to say hi? She says, no, I'd really rather go. So let's see if we have any questions. Vera, hello, good to see you. It's great to see everyone here and all of these hearts. Thank you. Thank you. If you have a question, put them in the comments. I'm going to go over not all of that, but I'm going to tell you briefly what I said again here in a minute so you're sure to understand it because it's very important. Most of the people or all of the people so far here have said they want to be a fluent speaker. So far, I haven't seen anybody say they want to be a teacher. And if you want to be a teacher, that's great. But it's not necessarily the same. It isn't the same as wanting to be an English speaker. We need more vocabulary and we have grammar. Okay. Eliam, I'm not sure if this is a question, but I'm going to read it. Maybe I'm in high intermediate. Buying this level, we need more vocabulary, even if we have grammar mistakes. Listening to things you understand or you understand most is going to help you to use the grammar and also to have more vocabulary and also to remember the vocabulary. So it's very important to listen to things you understand or that you understand most of what's being said. So If you are looking for a fluency program and you are a woman with an intermediate or above level, I would love to invite you to my free class for women, where I'm going to share my 3 tips on how you can use this information that I'm giving you and how you can start becoming more fluent more quickly right away. And I will put the link to that class in the description below. So if you want to sign up for the free class and the time that works best for you, check the link below when this video is posted on my YouTube. So how can we use our tools so that we can use grammar more effectively when we're speaking? What you want to do is find comprehensible input. And comprehensible input is a fancy way to say listen to, especially listen to, but also read things that you understand somewhere between 95 and 100%, at least 90%. And you'll hear some people say different numbers. Maybe they'll say 80%. The main thing is that you understand most of it and that you can understand what the person is saying and the message that they are trying to give to you. And the reason this is important is because this way your brain can use this information to build more ways of learning, more ways of remembering. Oh, startled me. Espy heard somebody walking. Sorry, I'm laughing because it startled me so much. Espy, my dog, heard somebody walk by, and she thinks it's her job to let me know everyone who walks by the house. Okay, so I've made a few notes so that I'm sure to remember. So how can we use comprehensible input? Let's talk about first how you can find it. You can find it in many places on YouTube, especially podcasts, other places, other articles, television, places like that. I have a whole list of videos that I will also link below. It is my story series. So if you've seen my stories, the most recent one was about cleaning the house. I know a lot of people have seen that and really enjoyed that one. That's one of my popular videos, but there are many more videos so that you can watch and understand what you're saying. I give you hints as I'm telling the stories. So that's one place you can look. But there are other places where you can find comprehensible input. I'm going to write the name here in the chat so that you can go online and find it. You can try different things. Comprehensible input in English, English comprehensible input, all kinds of things like that so that you can find what we're looking for. Or pardon me, I should say what you're looking for. Oh, I see Fam loves dogs. Thank you so much. So this is one thing, is finding it. Then once you have it, why? Why do you want comprehensible input? If you are not understanding most of what's being said, your brain is not comprehending it. You are not taking it in. It's almost like it's falling off of you. And so this is why you want comprehensible input, pardon me, so that your brain will say, oh, I understand that. I'm going to take it in. It's going to take it into the brain. And then if there's a one or two or a few things that it doesn't understand, it's going to go, oh, that's new. I better pay attention. Maybe I need to know that. And then if it hears that again, it's going to go, oh, there's that new word again. And then it hears it again. It's like, oh, I've heard it 3 times now. And it's going to keep hearing that new word. And it may not understand at first. And then maybe it understands a little bit. And little by little, you understand more. And then you can use it. Um, Another key point is that you listen to things that are interesting to you, things that you enjoy listening to, things you enjoy listening to, things that make you feel good when you listen to them, things that are fun to listen to, things that feel peaceful when you're listening to them. Why? Because when you have these feelings, your brain is better able to learn. And so you want to look for these kinds of things. And also, you want to look for things where you learn about the culture of the language you are learning, because you can't take the culture out of the language. So, when learning a language, you need to mix it in with the culture because it will help you to understand more. And another thing that a lot of people don't think of, but my women who are here from She Speaks More can tell you this, is that listening when you're having conversations will be very helpful. So you're listening to podcasts, television shows, YouTube videos, all kinds of different things. These are all very good. Just remember to also be in conversation where you're listening and you're also getting the chance to speak, because your brain listens in a different way and you get to practice speaking. So being able to do both of those is like an A plus in the United States. So let me see what questions we have. Welcome all of you who have just joined me. If you missed the first part, you can go back and see the recording in a little bit. Ofa has a question. It is needed. Oh, a comment. It is needed because logic behind language we need most. Yes, this is just what we need in order to learn. And unfortunately, we were taught that we need to learn a lot of things that we thought we needed in the past. And then we've discovered we don't need them. And unfortunately, the truth is that schools were not necessarily set up to benefit the student. Yes, they benefit the student, but much of what is done because it works well for the school, or because that's how they can get more money. And do they need money? Yes, they need money to have the school, but what they're doing might not be so the student can learn. It might be because they need to do it to get more money, or it could be because it's something that's helpful for the teacher. Do we need teachers in our schools? Yes, we need teachers in our schools. I am not saying schools are bad. What I'm saying is be aware of what works for you so that you can find ways of learning that are more effective, that work better. All right. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you have any thoughts, put them in the comments. And if you liked this video and you'd like to see me go live more often, write that in the comments. Every time someone comments, it helps me to be able to have more videos. And also, I really encourage you to share these videos with your friends who are becoming fluent, because again, it helps me to be able to make more live videos and more story videos. So I'm curious, if you're watching, have you seen any of my stories? For example, the stories about the national parks. I have 3 or 4 videos about the national parks. Or have you seen the story about the Native Americans? If you can think of a story you have watched, write it in the comments. Have you seen stories about my children, vacations we've taken, or things we've done together? Have you seen a story about my cleaning the house story? I have many stories. I see a question. Marcella asks, what's your cat's name? The cat is Pippa. Pippa is my cat, and Espy is my dog. And Patricia asks, do I need to listen actively in order to learn? Great question, Patricia. Again, the short answer is yes. So listening actively means that you're listening and you're paying attention and you're trying to get what they're saying. Yes, you need to do this. If you're listening passively, it's in the background, you're not really listening to it. It may or may not help. It probably will help with things like getting used to the sound of the language, things like that. But for listening, pardon me, for learning vocabulary and grammar and how to speak, yes, you need to listen and you need to pay attention. You don't have to watch everything. There, for example, I'm learning both Spanish and German. In German, I need to watch and I need to listen and I need to pay attention and I need to have nothing else because it's very new for me. I'm a beginner. Um, I'm becoming an advanced listener in Spanish. So a lot of the times I can listen to things not in the background, pardon me. I can listen to things without watching. I can be doing the dishes or taking a walk and I can still understand everything. I'm still actively listening to understand what they're saying. I'm just not watching. But a lot of times in Spanish, even though I'm an advanced listener, there's still a lot I need to learn. And because of that, I need to I need to watch a lot of what I'm listening to. And there are some reasons why that's helpful, but that's another video. Vera says, yes, I've been watching your story videos. It's a good way to learn vocabulary, grammar, phrasal verbs, etc. I'm so glad to hear that, Vera. Thank you. Yernelia says, I saw the story about the buses. Yes, I haven't thought about that story lately, but I tell a story about one of my dear friends who I met on one of the school buses. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to go see that one. I see some thumbs up and some other things here. Let's see if this is a question. Eliam says, I've found a method to study history, and that way I learn more, repeat and repeat until I understand. But of course, after listening to a lot of times, translating the words and phrases. If you enjoy this, I say keep doing it. Translating is another thing that causes us problems. Most of us are not studying to be translators. I should have put that on the other list. If you're studying to be a translator, you probably need to know grammar and you need to be able to translate from your native language to English or whatever other language. But if you are learning English because you want to be an English speaker and you want to use it in your job or with friends or with family, you don't need to be able to translate professionally. So translating can slow your learning down. So as much as possible, try to stop translating things to another language because what happens, I'll just tell you briefly because I'm out of time, is that our brain then needs to translate things in order to speak. And so it slows us down. I'm going to see if there are any other comments, then I'll wrap it up here. Ofa says, while listening to videos in English on YouTube, sometimes I feel like all my listening doesn't work and I find myself desperate and hopeless. But I'm determined to go on. I happen to know that Ofa has seen most of my videos because of the comments that you leave. And first of all, thank you so much for watching and for commenting because that's very, very helpful to me. Eliam, I'm not sure about your question why. So if you want to tell me a little more, I might be able to answer that. But Ofa, you bring up a very good point. Sometimes it feels really, really difficult. Keep going. Get help. Talk to people who can be encouraging and keep going. It does get better. Talena Elena says, hello, long time no see. Good to see you. Great job, she says, and thanks for sharing. Elena, it's so great to see you. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Again, there's Pippa. Again, if you are interested in my fluency program for women, a few people from that program were here today, then do check out the link in the description below so that you can see my free class and get all of the information about that class. And if you're interested, if you are a man or a woman interested in other classes with the English Coach 3T's team, you can send me an email or go to our website to find out more about that. And I will look forward to seeing you all in my story videos, but also next time for a live video at the end of March will be the next one, the last Saturday of the month at 1 p.m. Los Angeles, California time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.